Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Chronicle, Cradle of Liberty. This is episode 5, The Starving Faithful. So let's meet our faithful vampires, starting with Avery.
Hello, hi everybody, it's me, Avery, at Avery DuBois on all the social media platforms. I consider myself something of an internet personality, and in this time zone, I will be playing the Camarilla dog, Vern Rasmussen.
Thank you. Luna.
Hi, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on all the social medias, including on Twitch, where I stream. But for this time zone, I will be playing one Celeste Ortega of Clan La Sombra.
Laura.
Hi, hello, good evening, folks. You can call me Laura or Tutu or Laura Tutu. And tonight I will be playing Bryony Perkins, everybody's favorite Ventru Princess derogatory.
Vin.
Oh my gosh, hi! I'm Vin at VinVoxVA on all the socials except Blue Sky, that is VinVox.com. Tonight I will be Marius Wise. Don't worry about it.
God damn it. And last but not least, Zach.
Hi everybody, I'm Zachary Vaudo, also known as Sneakernet or Sneakernet Music, wherever social media may be. And tonight, once again, I am the voice of the people, the golden boy, child of Redacted, your Bruja, Arthur Zebulon.
Not so redacted anymore. As always, this is a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition actual play. We've gone over our safety and consent, but please check in with yourselves as your well-being is important to all of us who are playing. All the content warnings for this game will be down in the description below. So if everyone is ready, let's go back to Boston. Last night, the coterie rescued Ceres, Vern's child, from the clutches of the dictatorial Baron Randall Thane, challenging and technically defeating him, best kind of defeat, in open combat, with Arthur and Bryony declaring the Bruja Sol as the new Baron of Southie. Randall unfortunately fled the area, plunging himself into the Boston Harbor, and Ceres, perhaps rightfully punished for selling Anarch information to Camarilla Primogen, was kicked out of the faction, leaving her completely isolated in the city of Boston. But tonight, you all have a dinner to attend. So we're going to begin our scene upstairs from the Queen's Cellar in Vern's apartment, where right now, Vern, you are being dressed by Bryony, and Ceres is also helping. You had gotten some of her things from her apartment before the sun rose, so they are now in your apartment. And Bryony, as you are sort of patting Vern down and making sure that he looks good, of course, none of these clothes belong to him. Vern, will you describe for us what you are wearing? What Bryony has picked for you?
Sure, yeah. Vern is wearing a nice pointed-toed shoe, black patent leather, silver inlay into the toes. Kind of, they would be tailored, but on a person of a little bit different dimensions from Vern. Black slacks. It's black on black on black for Vern. The only exception being the kind of silver and lilac vest that he wears over the outside.
And Bryony, as you gaze at your work, and Ceres sort of sits on the windowsill, one leg draped on the outside of the building, looking over what you're doing. Can I have your rouse checks for both Vern and Bryony, please, for the night? Both of you should be at 1 hunger.
Failure.
2 hunger for Vern. Just fitting, because you're going somewhere where supposedly there'll be food.
That is a rousing success.
And success for Bryony. How do you feel, Bryony, looking over Vern, dressed to the nines for the first time that you've ever seen him?
You know what? It's not something that we've ever had the occasion to get into, because while I'm sure there have been Elysiums between now and the time we've met, Vern doesn't strike me as the type to stick around for it unless he absolutely has to.
And Vern, how do you feel wearing this monkey suit?
Precisely so. There's only a certain amount of spackle you can put on a wall that's had a shotgun blast through it and have it look normal.
That's what a sander's for.
So, I mean, at this point, Vern feels like a blunt tool that's been forced into the shape of something useful.
Saris swings her long legs over from back into the inside the apartment. She's wearing an eye patch now from where her eye was obliterated. She's still extremely injured, and she walks with a strange gait because she's not quite herself yet. And she throws you she digs through the pile of some of the stuff that you brought, and she throws you a black peacoat. And she says, "You should wear this. It's actually yours."
You held on to it?
Do you take it?
Yeah.
Intelligence and awareness, please.
Way, I have 3 dots in intelligence now, baby.
That's where Avery spent his XP.
Sure did.
I want to be smarter, please.
I'm gonna use willpower to reroll 3.
Starting off the night real good.
That did net me 2 more successes, though, for a total of 4.
4 successes. As you take it, as you grip it in your hands, it feels expensive, maybe, but it doesn't feel like it's been well taken care of. And a memory flashes in your mind of someone else handing you this jacket, not Saris. Of course, the beautifully manicured hand of Quentin King hands you this peacoat. And he says, "Kval, it is time that we discuss my plans for the next Guinevere."
I'm always happy to listen.
Do you know why I'm giving you this coat?
If you wanted me to know, you'd tell me.
Well, instead of just escorting me to the opera and waiting outside like the good boy that you are, this time I want you to sit by my side so I can point her out to you.
You think they'll really let me in?
Of course they will, Kval. You're with me. And this city is mine, and everyone in it, and every building is mine.
Okay. Yes.
Pats you on the head, and you come back to yourself here in this apartment. And Brianny, you watched that Vern sort of had this strange glaze over his eyes as and he's still holding the jacket, not wearing it.
Vern,
What? Yeah, sorry. Yes.
you were a million miles away for a second. Everything okay?
Yeah. Quentin gave me this jacket a long time ago.
Oh.
I mean, maybe not that long ago. I don't know.
Hard to tell.
As Saris goes to leave this apartment to head downstairs, as she's going with you to the family dinner, she says very casually before leaving, "It's the jacket you were wearing the night you embraced me."
So a while ago, yeah. I guess. Yeah. The gaps are starting to fill in here and there, I think. And I'm not sure that's for the better. So, look, I know you have some things you want to say, but I need to clear my head before we do this. I've been living here for a few years, Bree. You've never come up to sleep before. What's going on?
You've told me so much about what it was like when he was Prince. And I know We know what we've been told by the tower. But, Vern, I think I heard him.
You'd know if you did. And looking at the way your shoulders are, you did. Yeah.
I panicked, and I kind of slammed the mental door in his face.
It's not a lot of people who can say that they've got the will to do that, so I guess kudos, but
Vern, can you make me a wits and occult?
Sure.
Which is also a terrible roll for you.
Yeah, absolute dog shit dice roll for me.
You're the only one who
I'm so sorry.
so I gotta have you make it.
But you know what? Sometimes you have 2 dice and you roll 2 successes. So
Yeah, that would say to you, if Brienne was able to do that, that wherever Quentin is, whatever's going on with him, he is weakened to such an extent that a neonate can shut him out with enough willpower.
yeah, he's not to diminish your achievement, but he's weak wherever he is.
I am not so foolhardy to think that I could shut out the likes of him if he were actually trying.
Well, I think he was trying. I think he just doesn't have the juice yet.
Great. I like that yet really.
I'm a realist, but we're dancing around the point. Why? Why did you come up here?
Because right now, you are the only thing that makes sense. Been the one constant since Beryl died. But if it is a problem, it will not happen again.
No, it's not a problem. I don't have a great track record with relationships, I guess. I mean, I have a son. His mother and I were only together for 5 years. I liked Claire a lot, but it's hard. We lived in Hull, and I drove into the city to be a dog catcher. So, I was away a lot, and it just, I don't know. Look, on top of the fact that I'm literally old enough to be your grandsire, I like you. I always have. I mean, it's just anybody who spends enough time with you in a room with you that isn't Shu Fang takes a liking to you. So, and I don't know what the stick up her ass is.
Speaking of that, as you say that, take in Brienne for the first time. You're so focused on being dressed like a doll. And you take Brienne's visage in. Brienne, can you describe for us what Vern sees?
Sure. Brienne's hair is done up in the way that you might see a screen siren of the 1950s. It's this beautiful, like, voluminous cascade that sort of falls over to one side and half hides one of her eyes. She's got her standard red lip, but her eyes are a little more emphasized than usual. And the dress that she wears is floor length and red. The sleeves are long, but the neckline is a little scandalous.
Plunging, you might say.
Plunging. She's got a pair of glittering, almost chandelier earrings and her big old signature cocktail ring. She looks regal. Shockingly so.
Vern, as you look upon this picture of beauty in front of you and you look at yourself in the mirror, you clean up pretty nicely. You almost look like a matching pair.
Look, I just need to know what you want. And if you don't have a good answer and you don't want to answer that right now, I get it. We got shit to do, and this is maybe one of my worst instances of timing ever.
You could certainly say that. I want you to stick around. I know things are getting worse, remarkably, just across the board, but Vern, I like having you around. And all right, I was a big fucking nerd in college, okay? I didn't have a lot of time for relationships. There was a fling or two here or there, but especially once Beryl embraced me, it was sort of blinders on, focus on learning and growing and becoming his perfect little protege. So.
The two you weren't.
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
No. Gods. Absolutely. No.
I mean,
no.
I've heard how some people's relationships with their sires are. I didn't have one, so I figured I'd ask.
It was he told me that I had promise, that my mind was a sword that just needed to be sharpened properly, and he promised to help me do that.
Yeah, I remember his speech when he presented you to Iverson.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was, I thought maybe... No, it's weird. I don't know.
The two of you have a dinner that you need to get to, and as you leave Vern's Spartan apartment, heading downstairs to meet the rest of your coterie, and head downstairs to where Marius and Arthur are hanging out in the lounge of the Queen's Cellar. And Marius and Arthur, your nightly rouse checks, please. Arthur at 2. And Marius at 2. But here's the convenience. While Brienne and Saris and Vern were playing dress up upstairs, you have the opportunity to have a drink if you'd like, or if you think you might be more polite to show up to the Hecata hungry, I will leave that decision up to you. But make it now.
Well, we are going to dinner after all.
Just in case. They do drink.
Me too. Okay, you're going to have to double fist them. Because you're 2 blood potency. So if you would just remove yourself down to 1 hunger. And Arthur, you're staying up too. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Celeste, you know that you need to meet with your coterie. You're going to the Queen's Cellar first, and then you're all traveling together in one car to the Hecata. Now, you're being driven by Gabriel in, every time Gabriel picks you up, he picks you up in a different car. And this time he has you in a nondescript white van. And you were called back to 200 Clarendon last night. And you have something for your coterie that you're bringing back. But as he pulls into the Queen's Cellar, he says, do you want me to follow you to wherever it is that you're going tonight?
Ooh, that probably wouldn't be polite. No, that shouldn't be necessary. I'll give you a call if needed.
Can I have your nightly rouse check, please?
Yes. I'm good.
Yes, if there's anything you need, I don't have to follow closely. I can just be nearby. Whatever it is that you need.
Yeah, being nearby should be fine.
Would you like me to give that invitation to the Anak? I know you have the invitations for your coterie, but you have one extra for him.
She'll kind of tap them on her hand, thinking it over. No, I think it would be better coming from... I'll handle it.
As you wish. I'm only a phone call away.
Thank you.
And he'll get out, let you out of the van.
I will enter the Queen's Cellar.
He drives off. And so, you enter into the Queen's Cellar. So let's start. You see Arthur sort of lounging about on one of the love seats here. And what does Celeste see, Arthur?
At first, it looks like Arthur has dressed up because the red tie jumps out a lot more than his usual cooler tone ties of the blues and purples. And he has a white dinner jacket on. Gives all the impression of, dressing up for the occasion, specifically for the occasion. But the closer that you look, you realize that the vest is the exact same. The shirt is just a standard white shirt. He basically just changed his tie and put on a jacket and called it dress up.
Perfect.
But it did the trick.
And Marius, what does Celeste see?
Maria sees someone's 14-year-old edgelord OC, complete with feather shawl, sword earrings, a little rose tie clip, and just an ombre vest and matching tie and circle shades. They are bored already and overstimulated, if vampires can be overstimulated.
I'll allow it. And Celeste, what do Marius and Arthur see as you walk in with Olvido on your shoulder?
As Celeste enters the building, she at first it looks like she's wearing something slightly similar to what she wore to Elysium, given the low light. It's a long black dress, but rather than a slit down the side and a matching choker and long sleeves, or rather form-fitting long sleeves, it's more flowing with very flowing, draping long sleeves that don't quite reach the floor, and don't drag that way, but they could if she sat down, because she's quite short.
Perfect. And as you enter in, so does eventually Vern and Brienne start heading down the stairs and see the coterie all gathered together. Saris, you don't see here anywhere at the moment. But you do see that Celeste is not empty-handed.
Yeah, she kind of fiddles with her bird skull choker. And it looks a little slightly nervous with what she's got in hand.
Well, don't you all look perfect?
Beat me to the punch.
You
Yes,
flatter
well-
us, emissary.
You're really
Celeste.
nice. Yes.
You're about to twist that necklace off your own neck, dear.
Oh, is it my bad? I have something for everyone.
Oh, good.
Kind of fan out the invitations and hold them out.
Is this a magic trick?
I wish it was just an illusion.
They are each personally addressed to you, including one for Celeste, and one more immediately you clock, the name Lasher.
I will pluck mine from Celeste's fan. Flip it.
Does everyone take theirs?
Yeah, Vern will take his and then just look to Celeste. I I don't read too good. To what do I owe the pleasure?
Oh, we are being invited to a masquerade ball by one Samitsi Primogen.
Fucking Azaria.
We
Outstanding.
are all sorts of popular, aren't we?
I need to know if anyone opens their envelope. I need specifically to know if Marius opens theirs as well.
I do, but
Okay.
we'll see what Marius does.
Yeah.
I do, but I also take Lasher's invitation.
When you open it, you aren't quite sure what this paper is made out of.
Yes.
And then you come to this very horrific realization that it's not paper, but rather something we would call vellum or skin.
How
And-
very on brand.
And the words seem to have been carved into the leather of the skin and branded with the Samitsi symbol. And I'll read it out for you. It says, "Dear guest," of course, guest meaning your name, whatever your name is, meaning she individually carved this skin for everyone. "As the nights turn anew in our city, it is only fitting that we celebrate the return of tradition and the forging of new alliances with a masquerade ball. Under the watchful eyes of all, we will drink to new bonds and witness the dance of power in its most elegant form. Come adorned in mystery, for the night is not meant for the unremarkable. Azaria Durand, Samitsi Primogen." Inside of yours, Marius, is a regular, ordinary white note that seems to be folded inside of this skin. And it is a note from Dejan. The note says that the Salem and Hartford chantries will be in attendance. Make it a night they won't forget.
Luckily, they aren't human, so they won't puke all the blood they just doubled up on. They just kind of tuck that little piece of paper right back in with the skin invitation. And wonderful.
I figure you wanted to hand off Lashers yourself.
I would. Thank you.
Yeah.
You think he's actually gonna want a fucking show?
Absolutely not.
Are you sure? This seems right up his alley.
I mean,
I don't think. Not a Camarilla shindig.
No, but as a Missy shindig.
Well,
I mean, good thing it's an invitation and not a demand, then, right?
No, it's from a Primogen. All the invitations are demands.
No, it's
I was
not
going to
good.
say.
Well, I, for one, will be in attendance, if only to have another opportunity to see Vern dressed up in that magnificent coat once again.
Thanks. Thanks,
you.
Art.
You do look nice, Vern. You cleaned up well.
Yeah, I guess. You know, every dog's got their day, huh?
And your coat has a lovely sheen.
You hear clapping coming from behind you, and it is Saris. And Celeste, you see Saris is on her feet, but she looks extremely injured and beat up, and she's wearing an eye patch. She's clapping. She's like, "All right, have your conversation in the car, kids. We don't want to be late for the Hecata. They're very serious about their family dinners."
Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
Who wants to drive? I'm very injured. I can't do it. And she's holding up keys that say Range Rover on them.
Well, darling, I have someone for that.
You
Vern will
really
grab
want to bring
Vern will
someone
grab-
besides us to the Hecata?
Vern
I
will grab the
wouldn't.
keys.
Okay.
Well, that segues me into something I was going to do later, but let's do it now. Let's intelligence and occult everyone, please. I need to see how much your characters know about the Hecata.
this is my role.
1 extra die for both Arthur and Vern because you are older and you would have met them more chances you would have met them.
1 with a bestial hanging.
Sick. Hold on to that.
3, and it's a 10, 9, 8.
Nice.
They were
one.
playing poker.
3 dice for 3 successes.
Yeah, perfect.
Mhm.
I had to pick dice I can see.
I have that problem playing
One
Lark
moment.
all the time.
That's why I have digital.
What did you roll, Luna? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, just one.
Okay. Vern, increase your hunger, please. Hit 3. 4 successes. Yeah. So everyone except for Vern, who is just hungry now, you all have passing knowledge of the Hecata. You know that they, at one time, were separate bloodlines, or all bloodlines sort of under the parentage of the Giovanni. Marius, you would probably know the Cappadocians, the ones that predate the Giovanni, since you rolled 4 successes. But you know that they've all come together as their self-described family unit. All these bloodlines of death have all come together, and they all hang out together, and all their businesses is intertwined together, and to the outward facing of all kindred, they get along very well. They are very, they've come together as a clan, and you should accept them all as Clan Hecata and forget their bloodlines and any past grievances you might have had with them.
There is one thing I need to grab from Vern's truck, but other than that, Vern will grab the keys and go get the Range Rover started so the seats are warm. But then they will go to the truck to grab the GPS that they pulled from Sarah Milton's vehicle.
Perfect. And this Range Rover that Sarah has, she always has new cars. And Brianna, you would have noticed Vern brought back just like anything that they could carry back from her apartment when you left the Anarchs last night. She has so many keys. So many random sets of keys. You have no idea where she's gotten these from.
You know what? At this point, I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah, well, it's a very large 7-seater white Range Rover. So you can all fit rather comfortably in there. Yeah, it's gas guzzler. Absolutely terrible for the environment. But you can all fit rather comfortably in there. And if there's any discussion that you'd like to have in the car while you're driving to way outside of Boston, this address, Vern, is in Woburn. You don't know anything about Woburn. You're not even sure you've ever been there. It's also where I was born. Don't mind that. It's not that far outside of Boston. It's like 20 minutes. But that is where you are heading. If there's any conversation that you'd like to have with anybody, now is the time to do it.
I think at some point in the drive, Arthur is going to say it very quietly to Bryony, since if memory serves correctly, Vern and Marius were dragging Saris out of the building when this got dropped, so I think she was the only one in the building to actually hear it. But apart from all the
Marius and Junebug were carrying Saris out. Vern wasn't there.
Vern was running.
Vern was chasing the Baron, and Brienne was the one who was in there. Correct. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. So just Arthur will just lean in close to Bryony, whether it's like from if she's in the front seat behind or whichever direction, just quiet enough for just her to hear it, and say, "I hope it goes without saying, but that bit of knowledge I dropped is not fully public information, and I'd prefer to keep it as such for now."
What bit of knowledge, dear?
Exactly. People tend to want so much from you when there's a name behind you.
Funny. It's been the exact opposite from me.
And then very loudly, just to the rest of the car, Now, do you think this dinner is going to be very stereotypically Italian, given the Giovanni's presence here, or are we thinking it's going to lean a bit more Adam's family?
I'm looking for fucking baked beans and Charleston chews, baby.
The Boston experience, I see.
Please keep
Oh
that
my
humor in
goodness.
the car.
Saris
No.
responds to you, Arthur, and she says, "The answer to your question, Arthur, is yes."
Oh, wonderful.
Saris will turn to you, Marius, and she'll say, "Did you drink the blood like I asked you to before I got all the winds knocked out of me?
Oh, that. Yes, I did.
And?
And what?
What clan is he?
Why is that your business?
He's my sire.
Well, let your sire tell you.
Okay. Vern, what clan are you again? I forget.
Good question. I mean, Jara told me I was cative.
So I ask again. What clan is he?
Oh, I see. That's where we have our little misconception. And since this is a, vampire paternity test, I do need compensation.
I gave myself up for Junebug. That was the compensation.
Nothing gets past you. What was it? Ivan, you're a gangrel.
Gross.
Do you call him Ivan?
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence and awareness, please, Vern. And Saris looks shocked that you call him Ivan.
So many dice for that now.
But you read it in his blood. Or tasted it in his blood, rather.
Messy crit +1 5.
Please increase your hunger to 4.
In the range.
In the range, Rover.
In the car.
Yes.
In the car.
Yes. Another memory flashes in front of your mind. You're speaking with Saris, but not as a vampire, as a human being. You're wearing this coat that you're wearing now. And you have her by the arm and you're dragging her out of the building. And she's speaking to you in Russian and she says, Ivan, I don't understand. I don't understand. What is wrong? Why are you taking me away from this building? Who wants to take me? Who wants me for what was it? I don't know the word you used. Gwen something?
You gotta go. On тебе.
But I can't. I need to perform. The man who is paying my company so much extra money to perform privately for him, the man in the shadows, I need to keep performing for him. He paid so much money. I need to go to the performance now.
No.
But I have to. I can't stay here.
He's going to try and own you.
Ivan, I don't understand what you're saying, but I can't stay here. I want to go home eventually, and eventually I'll do the performances and my company will get the money, and then I can go home.
I think Vern will sink his face into his hand again and just repeat that in Russian. He wants you on хочет тебя.
That's when you see Quentin appear behind you. And you come back to yourself in the car. Please make me a composure and driving roll.
You got it. Not
400.
actually
400.
not a horrible pool for Vern. I still have one non-100 times.
Oh
400?
boy.
I forgot he was driving.
Same.
Whoops. I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either. It's funny.
3 successes. Yeah. So instead of veering any type of way or anything, you sort of hit the brakes slightly. You tap on the brakes real fast before correcting yourself, and everyone sort of jolts a little bit.
Yeah, hey, do me a favor, don't fucking call me then.
Deal.
Thanks, boo-boo.
Don't call me that.
Now we're even.
What the fuck is happening?
I don't even know anymore.
Oh man, I
Dogs
forgot
and
we had a
dead
chair at the kids' table.
Keep driving.
Come on, I'm trying to fucking cut wires here. I'm trying to be funny. No, all right. I guess I'll just be the dickhead who fucking drives the car. All right.
Okay.
Would you like me to drive
all
instead?
right.
Do you want to be the dickhead who drives the car?
I can be the dickhead who drives the car.
I mean, we're already halfway there. I might as well finish the. You can drive back.
Sounds good. If you don't eat while we're there and you get hungry, I'll drive the car.
If I don't eat while we're there, I'm gonna have to kill somebody.
Saris looks at you,
Where-
Marius,
oh.
and says, I appreciate that you did that. Thank you. I don't think you hear it enough.
What the fuck does that mean?
What language am I speaking?
It depends. Sarcasm or bitch.
I'm being sincere. I don't think people tell you thank you enough.
It's a foreign language for Marius.
Truly.
What's the plan? What's the plan here? What are we here to do?
Figure out what the fuck they want and see if we can leverage it for what we need. We need to find Dick.
Were we given an open-ended invitation?
I still have the invitation with me, so I will pull it out of my little clutch and hand it to whoever wants to read it aloud.
Addressed to the Blue Blood, Bryony Perkins, and all kindred in her company, the Hecata invite you as honored guests to the family dinner. Come respectfully and unarmed. Harm will befall no guest at penalty of final death. Andreas Giovanni, head of Clan Hecata. Well, goodness, I thought maybe they had some sort of itinerary for the conversation, but it seems we're just dinner guests.
Nope, family dinner, apparently. I don't believe it for a second, but
Ern will tilt their rear view so he can look at Saris in the rear view mirror. What do they want?
It's really no fun if I tell you now, well, instead of letting them tell you.
I don't like surprises, and I'm really fucking hungry.
So? Is that supposed to convince me?
I would think it might help.
Saris. And Brittany will actually turn and look at Saris with her big brown puppy dog eyes. Please.
They want to form an alliance. You're an emissary, aren't you?
As of now, I wasn't when this invitation came through.
Yeah, funny that, huh? Couldn't imagine if there was someone in the ivory tower who would have maybe heard that you were getting the position and told them ahead of time.
So, who is this fucking Andreas guy? What do we
He's
know
nice.
about him?
Like, nice, or Hecata nice?
I find that very clanist, but he's nice. I've never had any issue with him. I've never spoken to him often. Mostly I hang out with Echo Asher, and Mark, the Nagaraja. You met in the morgue.
Oh, Mark, the one who was chewing on the arm.
Yeah, he'll be there.
Lovely.
So, why do they want an alliance with Camarilla? I mean, I know they were tight with
I didn't say they wanted one with the Camarilla.
With us, then?
You made the implication, though, given that Bryony is the Camarilla emissary. But
I did.
They would need an open door.
Something like that.
I
Really?
don't
You want
like
me to
that.
give all the secrets away right here? Or all squished
No.
together in this car?
I mean, how much bad faith can we accept from this guy?
As far as I understand it, if this deal isn't something that anyone here present seems willing to give a shot, then he's going to leave. Apparently his child has something cooking up in Berlin, and he wants to go there.
So they want an open door. they want to deal with us specifically.
Ooh.
Stands to reason that means that they're going to ask us to drive a wedge in the Camarilla.
Or they'll take their ball and go home. Whatever their ball is.
Oh no. Oh dear.
What's that, Marius? I don't understand.
Don't worry about it.
No, I mean, I think I kind of need to worry about it now.
No, I just have a lot on my plate as, I don't know, Tremere clan whip.
What do you mean? What do you got on your plate? Am I missing something?
Well, we're doing this fantastic side quest. I have things, chantry things to deal with.
You need a hand?
Worth my time.
Do you need a hand? I mean, for real, like, I got nothing but time.
We are a coterie after all.
No.
And Sarah starts laughing. Oh, Marius famously doesn't play well with others.
Well,
don't
I know
say.
that, but we don't say it out loud.
What do you mean? We fucking dynamic duoed that bitch and fucking the T. Come on.
I thought we were getting along quite well.
We are. And I think boundaries is also part of teamwork. So,
That is fair.
Say no more.
no more.
As everyone dogpiles on Marius.
That's why you made this game, right?
Yeah, I did. Actually, that's correct. Vin was the first person I invited. Anyway, Vern, you pull into the address that Sarah's put into the GPS of the Range Rover or Land Rover, Range Rover. I can't remember which one I said. And you're like, this is a weird address. We're like not in residential and we're not in city either. We're kind of weirdly on the outskirts of wherever the hell we are. And as you get closer, you see it's a giant abandoned factory. And the sun bleached lettering that you see when you roll down the window and sort of look out says Charleston Shoe Company.
Okay. All right. Are we prepared? Are we ready? Do we have our game faces on? Can we hopefully not walk out of this covered in blood?
I could eat.
Now, I will
We're
ask.
here, we're family.
Per the invitation, it said, do not come with any weapons. Does anyone have weapons?
Nope.
I got
Just
And,
to
and as a storyteller, unfortunately, I need the honest truth for a reason.
genuinely no. Like, let's become this clicker.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
think.
we don't.
Unless you count the clicker.
Vern will take the knife out of his back pocket and put it in the glove box.
To be clear, I'm not saying you can't have brought weapons up to this point, but I need to know if you're attempting to go in with weapons. You can say like, yeah, I had this and I'll leave it in the car. That's fine for no reason.
So
Yeah.
Arthur has this pen.
Mm-hmm.
That is in fact a pen, but it's got this really sharp edge on the back of it that's mostly used for breaking windows
My
and deals like
question
+1
to
damage.
you,
Yes.
does Arthur consider it a weapon?
Yes.
Okay, and you're taking it.
I was more going to ask am I of the thought that they would consider it a weapon or would they consider it a pen?
Unfortunately, you don't know them, so I can't answer you that
Yeah.
question. The only question I'm asking you is, do
Fair
you
enough.
consider it a weapon?
Gotcha. In which case I'll take the pen out, look it over, and say, better not lose this, and just set it on the dash.
Okay, and what about you, Celeste?
I have nothing but a bird.
Yeah. Do you consider Oviedo a weapon? Like, legitimately? I need Celeste's legitimately real answer to that question.
I mean, he can. Yeah.
Nope.
So
Like, if you were to describe your bird, would you go like, he is my weapon? Or is he my pet? How would you describe the bird?
definitely my pet. My pet.
So that's honestly how you feel about Oviedo. You don't consider him a weapon, you consider him a pet.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all of you exit out. And you come across, well, let's start here. On the walls of the factory, there's a bunch of ivy. It seems to be way darker than it should be. It's very thick and pulsing, you think? Like it has a heartbeat. The factory windows are mostly shattered. However, it seems that they have been replaced with newer stained glass depicting figures in gowns feasting at a banquet, while skeletal hands hold up large goblets of deep red liquid. And the entrance, which seems to have at one point been the factory's loading dock, has been refashioned into an imposing set of wrought iron double doors, a massive crest of interwoven bones and roses placed in the center. And as you approach it, you see Ceres is already banging on the gate, telling Hugh to open the doors, although you don't see anybody there.
Okay.
And if you stop Ceres from banging and calling for someone who's not there, or do you let her continue this strange passion play she's doing?
Listen, she's technically our in on this, so I'm gonna let girlfriend do what girlfriend needs to do.
Okay. Who has Sense the Unseen? Marius, do you turn it on? Do you activate it?
I do. Yeah, I do.
You see, she's not calling for anyone. She's speaking to the skeletal hands at the gate. And as you turn on Sense the Unseen, you can see that there is a spirit that inhabits these skeletal hands, and she's talking to it. And she's saying, Hugh, you son of a bitch, open this gate.
She's talking to the hands.
Like being metaphorically ignored, or
No, there's a spirit, and she's communicating with it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna take the invitation, and I'm gonna walk up next to Ceres.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hold it out towards the hands.
When you do that, you hear a voice, an ethereal voice. You're not quite sure where it's coming from. And it says, "A drop of blood for my roses and I'll open the gate." And Sarasmi says, "Hugh, you bastard. We are invited. We don't have to do this. I'm going to tell Andreas about this." And he responds with, "What's he going to do? Tear up my corpus and send me off to Transcendence? Oh no! What a horror show."
The sassiest spirit I've ever encountered. My God. Is he always like this?
Yes. Who wants to feed the plant? You want to draw straws?
Oh, for Pete's sake. I'll drop my fangs and do a...
Make me a Ross check.
I need to stop making weird noises when I do that.
That's fine.
That's a failure.
So you
I'm
head
hungrier.
up to hunger
Yes.
as you feed the plant, and the plant is greedy. And as you prick your finger and you stick your finger into the roses, something inside of the roses latches onto your finger and begins sucking.
Rude.
And Sarah sort of grabs your hand, pulls you away from it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it that way. Now, Hugh, open up the goddamn gate. Eventually, the skeletal hands, you watch them move and open. And the gate swings open.
Well, this is fucked.
You don't say.
Come on, everyone. It's nicer inside. I mean, there's way more ghosts and stuff, but they are usually pretty contained.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Head up to the doors. Sarah's sort of leading the way here. And you walk inside. The main hall is huge and open, high ceilings. I said it was a factory at one time. There's candelabras and big, thick red velvet drapes that seem to be billowing as you walk through this large open area, even though there's no wind in here. The floor has been changed to black marble, veined with gold and polished to such a high sheen that you can see your own reflection in the floor. The remnants of the factory's past are still here. The massive steel columns are wrapped in black lace. The conveyor belts have been repurposed into this bizarre, avant-garde, slow-moving art piece. And an old sugar mixing vat has been transformed into a sunken fireplace that burns with an eerie blue and green flame. And here is where you see a spattering of people, standing at attention with a very pleasant countenance. And from at least the ones that you can see in the room waiting for you to reach them as you walk through this area, is maybe 20 people, which is huge amount of kindred in one place. The one who is standing at the head of all these people is an extremely tall man. with brown hair, brown eyes, and very sort of angular, almost bird-like features to him. And he's wearing a completely black coat, black suit with a red tie. And he holds his hand out. Who you think besides Saris? He doesn't acknowledge Saris the way that he's acknowledging you. He simply nods at Saris, and Saris walks her way into the crowd of the people who are standing here, as if she's been here many times. Who besides Saris is at the front? Okay. Then he holds out his hand to you and he says, "Welcome to my home. Who is it that I am addressing this evening?"
Bryony Perkins of Clan Ventru Emissary.
You are Bryony Perkins. Saris has told me so much about you. It is a pleasure to meet you, Miss Perkins.
And I will give him my hand.
He takes it warmly. Then he moves on to the next person. It's you, Arthur. And who do I have the pleasure of addressing this evening?
Arthur Zebulon, it's an absolute pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you. May I ask what clan you are?
You certainly may. I am of Clan Bruja.
Bruja. But you are in the Camarilla.
We have an arrangement. I provide the news for the Kindred society at large, and I am granted certain privileges.
And you and I, you have sought same goals as we, but you seem to have achieved them. Excellent. And he moves on to you, Celeste. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with this evening? He holds his hand out.
Celeste. Hey, I will hold my hand out. Celeste Ortega, Clan La Sombra.
We are cousins, you and I. The
Indeed.
disciplines innate to us are innate to you, just in a different way. It's
Quite.
wonderful to meet you. And he holds his hand out to you, Vern. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with this evening? And then he stops when he sees you. Oh. Caval.
Yeah. We've met before.
I'm hurt that you don't remember. We've met many times. I just did not... I expected you would have gone with the good king.
No, my memories of the time have been expunged by the good king, so...
I'm sorry to hear that. He was prickly on the best of nights, but I cannot say that he did not keep Boston safe from the Sabbat at the very least.
There's something to be said for security, but there's something to be said for the freedom of the individual as well.
Well, we must not speak of that unpleasantness. Caval, it is wonderful to see you again.
Yeah.
Then lastly, he holds his hand out to you, Marius. And who do I have this pleasure of speaking with this evening?
Marius Weiss, Clan Tremere Webb.
Clan Tremere. Have they re-established a chantry in Boston? So soon?
We're doing our best.
That's wonderful. Wonderful to hear. Please let me introduce my family, he says, and he sort of backs up a little bit. And two women step forward, and they look extremely similar. And he says, "These are my two childer, Orabella and Orella." And they sort of bow their heads. And then the next, without Andreas having to do anything, the heads of these bloodlines begin introducing themselves. First comes Wade Asher, and you don't have no idea what he looks like because he's wearing a death mask of someone you don't know. And he introduces his child, who is Echo Asher, who's wearing an obsidian mask, and underneath the obsidian mask, Echo's eyes are completely white. There's no pupil there. Next, he introduces the head of the Gorgons, Nadia Lamia, and her daughter Daria Lamia. And he moves on to the Flesh Eaters, and he introduces them by these names. He doesn't necessarily call them Nagaraja or what bloodlines they are. He just has sort of these grandiose titles for them. But the Flesh Eaters, Yadav Nagaraja, who has dreadlocks and has a lot of red face paint. At least you assume it's red face paint, red and gold, and not just blood. He's also wearing a belt of what is the word? Dehydrated tongues, I suppose would be the word. And he introduces his son, Mark, which he calls his son, is Mark Nagaraja, which, Brianna, you met at the morgue. And he's still wearing his outfit from working at the morgue. He introduces the head of the Bankers of Duncern, Sheena Duncern, and her child Ian. The head of the criminal Puttanesca, Salvatore Puttanesca, and his child Ubaldi Puttanesca. The head of the Little Siblings, Sabina Rossellini and Pacifica Rossellini. And finally, the head of the Grudge Masters, Erin Milliner and her child Cable Milliner. And you get the impression... Oh, let's do what's an insight real quick before we move forward. Sorry, I really love the Hecata, guys. Like, I'm super obsessed.
Hey, same. This is really neat.
It's a shame Arthur doesn't know enough about them because Zach noticed that there's a family missing.
There's two families missing. Yeah, 3. Mm-hmm. 1. Nope, Vern. Sorry, you're too hungry. You're too hungry to notice. Plus, he called him the good king, and that just
Threw you off.
kill this guy. 5. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna willpower because I'm nosy.
Yeah, sure.
6 on a crit.
Mm-hmm.
Boo. That's still only 2 dice.
Okay, so Marius and Celeste, you notice that you get the impression anyway, just because I think although Arthur and Brienne have spent many times in Camarilla, Elysia, you two were much more bogged down by your Primogen sires. Much more ground down to notice certain subtle things, pick up on subtleties. And you're getting the impression that these childer that are being introduced are just maybe the first childer or the favorite childer, that this is in no way, shape, or form the extent of the Hecata here in Woburn. Andreas sort of takes his place up at the front again. He says, please, I'm sure you are hungry. We have made accommodations for all of you. If there is any dietary restrictions that were not passed to us, we apologize for it, and we would be more than happy to provide you with anything that we do not have at the table.
Yeah. I like them with a little bit of fight in them. Is that going to be a problem?
Certainly not. And he looks over at Nadia Lamia, the head of the Gorgons, and she simply nods. Yes, that can be arranged. Would you like to do it in private, or would you like to give us a show, Kaval?
I don't mind eyes.
Wonderful. Dinner and a show. Excellent. Any other dietary restrictions I should be made aware of?
I prefer students from MIT myself.
Oh, yes. I believe Nadia can provide for you as well.
I can be flexible, thank you.
Wonderful. Clan Whip?
I need double, but otherwise, I'm just fine.
Would you prefer it in the bottle or from a neck?
Bottle, please.
Excellent. And you, cousin?
I am content to sip from a glass, if that is agreeable.
Of course. And Andreas sort of holds his arms out, and the family all sort of move out in sync. And he waits behind in order to guide the rest of you through. And he leads you to a room that must be the dining room. There is a long lacquered wooden table stretching nearly the length of the entire room. The chairs are mismatched, yet elegant. Victorian thrones and like Rococo, like old Rococo chairs. And there's a vast circular scrying mirror on one wall. Its surface is rippling with black water. You can't, like black water, excuse me, you can't see your reflection in the surface. So what its purpose is definitely not to look at yourself with. The table is set with wine glasses that are filled with blood. Silver clutches are also present if you are daring enough to unveil them, because you think, Brienne would think at least, that there might be body parts under there. There also seems to be a lot of humans in here, standing near the table and in various corners, in varying states of undress, many of them looking as though they can barely keep their balance. And the air in here smells of spices, decay, and something sweet, like old sugar. And you're invited to sit wherever. No one will sit until you sit.
Okay, cool. Laura thinks this is super cool and also is a little weirded out.
I haven't even gotten to the cult stuff yet.
Shit.
Is there like? Oh, go ahead.
No.
Oh, I was just gonna ask. Is there like a denoted head of the table?
Yes.
I'll sit in that direction.
You'll sit at the head
Or
of
at
the
least-
table.
Oh no! Oh no!
No one is sitting
I
until
was
you.
like,
No one is
true.
sitting until you sit.
I'm sitting close to that table. Wait, close to that chair.
Okay.
I will, if we can denote the head of the table, I will sit directly to the right.
Okay. So Marius will sit to the left, so on the opposite side, so you'll be facing each other. But you, Arthur.
Given how much he attaches himself, I get the sense that Vern is going to sit to Bryony, so I'm going to sit immediately next to Marius.
Okay. What about you,
We
Celeste?
should probably keep together.
I will sit next to Vern.
Okay. And Vern.
I think Vern will very quickly side up to Andreas and just kind of put a hand in the small of his back. Where are you gonna sit? I want you to have a good view of the show.
I appreciate that, Caval. It is customary that you sit first as our guests before we take our seats.
Why don't you just, And I'll just walk up to the closest chair, pull it out, and sit down.
Okay. So you're sitting towards maybe the middle of the table, while the rest of your coterie is up to the front.
Sure.
Except for Celeste, who's sitting next to Vern.
Yeah.
Wherever he's
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I was going.
That's a good point. Would you like to? You said you're going to sit next to Vern. Would you sit next to him at the middle, or would you just wait and sit next to Bryony at the top?
I would sit next to Bryony.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as soon as Vern sits down, the rest of the family take their seats. They're spread out. They're sitting not per bloodline as they were introduced to each other. They're sitting wherever it is that they want to sit. And Andreas himself sits at the front. Would you like to favor us with a show first before we eat, Caval? Or shall we eat and then favor us? Please, it is your decision.
I gotta admit, I'm chomping at the bit, so let's go ahead and get the show out of the way before dinner, huh?
And Nadia speaks in Greek, which is a language none of you have. And one of these people sort of removes themselves from the wall, and they walk right up to you, and they hit you in the back of the head.
Vern will push out from the table and stand up. Do it again.
Hits you right in the face. He's weak. He's a human.
What are you? Some kind of what are we doing here? Fucking hit me like you mean it, bitch.
He just keeps hitting you. There seems to be no legitimate fire behind those eyes.
Vern will turn to the woman who sent this one. Is this the best you fucking got? I heard you were the best fucking hosts on this fucking seaboard.
And Andreas says, I'm so sorry, Caval. This is what we can provide for you. And this person is still hitting you while you're turning around and talking.
Vern will reach out and grab him by the face and grip until he starts to hear a crunch in the jaw.
Mm-hmm. This
fucking
man
pathetic.
does not make a sound.
And they'll pull him in. And they'll whisper in his ear. I bet you can't even feel it, can you? And it'll bite into his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And I am at 4 hunger if you need a roll
Make
for
me a willpower
trying
roll.
not to... Yeah, that's what I figured. Right. 2, 3, 4, 5, and only 6 because I spent 1 to remember things.
Not having to spend willpower to remember stuff. That sucks.
4 successes.
4 successes is exactly enough for you not to kill him, but you're going to leave him extremely anemic. And as you drink from him, your bite does get a reaction out of him. The pain gets no reaction out of him, but the pleasure of your bite does, and he falls into your arms, practically melts into your arms, and he moans and groans in absolute ecstasy. And everyone at the table is completely entranced by this. All of you can see this. Some of them are clapping, some of them are very titillated by this display.
And I think as Vern's fangs recede, still holding him by the face, he'll just lift him up and toss him over the table like a rag doll. He's gonna need a fucking doctor.
And Andreas sort of smiles. That won't be necessary. As the clapping starts dying down. That was delicious. Please, everyone, have your fill. And the other people start bringing you goblets, start bringing you wine. The conchs are removed, and there's body parts under there, intestines and things that some of them start chowing down on, especially the two flesh eaters here begin just going to town. So if there's any other, you may remove yourself to 1 hunger, Avery, and anyone else who is at a hunger that's higher than 1 may remove themselves down to 1. As you feast.
Arthur very specifically, because we're sitting across from each other, just stays looking at Bryony and Luna the entire time that this is going on, and the moment that food's offered, just accepts goblets until he can get down to 1.
Now, the conversation is very polite as they speak to you. They want to know everything about you, the people who are around you. They want to know everything about your life in Boston. They want to know about your clan, your plans, what's different in Boston than it was 5 years ago when they left the city. They're very friendly, very cordial. I mean, they're creepy as hell, but very friendly. And eventually Andreas speaks up, and when he speaks up, everyone tends to get quiet and let him talk. And he says, so I imagine now that we have feasted and we have had excellent entertainment, Caval. Now there will be an orgy later, but I do not want to keep you, unless you are a member of the Bahari, then you are required to attend, but I do not believe any of you partake of such a religion.
There's a brief blink from Bryony. No, but appreciate it.
Of course. Always an open invitation for the Dark Mother. However, I'm sure you're wondering what I called you here for this evening.
I am intensely curious, Signor Giovanni.
We, at one time, were very well favored of the Prince of the City, Quentin King III. We had a very successful working relationship. We helped him keep Boston safe with our security, and he looks over at the Pudinescas. The criminal Pudinescas were well versed in that. We ran the circulatory system for Quentin King successfully, and we enjoyed it very much. It gave us a piece of power and a working relationship with the Camarilla, which we've always strived to have. However, when Iverson took position, she dismissed all of us. She took over all of our assets that we had for the circulatory system and corralled it under herself, and the Malkavian Primogen at the time, Richard Dunham, and the Ventrue Primogen at the time, Beryl Underwood, claimed it all for themselves. And, well, that is something that simply we cannot abide. We can't remain in the city languishing. We've already lost 2 of our precious bloodlines of family members. The Samdi and the Pissanobes are gone. They did not want to wait around for people who would be more willing to listen to our proposal, but a proposal is what we have. We would like to form an alliance, not with Iverson, but we would like some assurances of the kindred in her court that things are being moved, things are being shaken up, that things are moving towards a night where Iverson no longer holds power, but rather someone more amenable to including the Hecata once again in the affairs of Boston.
Wow. Signor Giovanni, I appreciate that you sent the invitation over to me. Truly. I'm sure there's no need to hash over how badly Boston as a whole, not just the Camarilla, but every kindred in the city was hit when the SI attacked.
Yes, and fortunately we were not, as Quentin was already gone and we were expelled. We are intact outside of the bloodlines who no longer wanted to give Boston a second chance. They were too slighted, were they?
Yes. What I know is that the circulatory system, the lack of the circulatory system now, is an open wound for the tower. I imagine if that is something that we could rebuild, that would quite possibly give you the edge to step back in.
We would be most willing to rebuild. However, our firm stance is we will not do it as long as Iverson is in power.
I'll look at Arthur and Marius.
Would you be interested in working with a different sect, or are you hard-lined to working with the Camarilla?
Unfortunately, we do not believe. We have considered it. It is one of the many reasons that our beloved bloodlines left us, as they were more in favor of attempting to rebuild the Anarchs. But unfortunately, I do not have the faith, the trust that the Anarchs, perhaps given time that we do not want to wait for, could rebuild themselves as interconnected as the Camarilla is. Especially in the finance world, these things cost money to do.
You are not wrong. There has recently been a shakeup in Anarch hierarchy, and I would say that your involvement would certainly go quite some ways in their rebuilding.
Unfortunately, Arthur, it is not something we are willing to wait for. We appreciate the thought, and as we did when the discussion first came up, the last family dinner when we were all together, but it is just not something that we can agree upon. We have a promise with the Ivory Tower that should be upheld. We deserve a piece of Boston.
I completely understand. I simply thought I would offer it as a potential praxis is a bit harder to swallow for some.
And forgive me for interjecting, Andreas, but do you mean to say you have a standing compact with the once and future king?
Looks extremely confused when you say that. I have been told, and as he is not here, that Quentin left for the Beckoning.
Does that mean your oaths sworn to him are broken? You know, there's something that he used to say. If you only uphold your oath when someone's watching, you never fucking cared.
Cavall, I'm not sure what I have done to foster such an animosity with you, and I'm not sure what oaths you are speaking of. Quentin and I had a working relationship.
Of course. That's what I mean.
Yes.
Your deference to the tower is
oh no.
From your deference to him.
No. Working with the Ivory Tower dates back long before Quentin and I's relationship. It dates back to the 16th century. It's a promise that was drafted.
But there's no remnants of your bond.
Vern, they take offense to how Prince Iverson treated their clan. Not
No, I get that. I get that.
Cavall, I'm just curious. Are you all right? I don't remember you having this brashness to you the last time that we spoke.
Yeah, I was on a short leash before.
Andreas sort of pivots. He says, and looks to you, Marius. At one time, Dejan and I worked very closely. Back before he was Primogen, of course. Our relationship changed when Iverson became prince. He seemed to no longer want anything to do with our clan, but when he was young, he was very involved in the manipulating of the blood and wanted to learn much from the circulatory system. He worked with us in distribution. I would be very happy to work with him again. I'd be even agreeable to work with Richard Dunham again under certain circumstances. But Iverson, I will not. The slight is too much. We are accommodating. We are graceful. We do not ask much of the Ivory Tower outside of an allowance for us to be as we are and do what we do and keep the Masquerade. And the
Then
slight
there's
was
no way
too
of an
much.
apology. There's no way of an apology that Iverson could make to remedy or rectify.
When I attempted to hold a meeting with her, I invited her to a dinner just like this one. And she sent her sheriff with a note that said, "Stay out of Boston." He didn't even stay for dinner.
That does clear things up then. Thank you.
Yeah. Delson usually has a clawfoot bathtub to get back to.
I have heard that
Branny.
about him, which I do not hold against him.
No, everybody's got their thing.
Vin, you want to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead.
I think Vern actually gets lost in the thought for a moment. So please proceed.
I think, as a coterie mate, that this is something you should genuinely consider. You know Emissary is a joke, and you're not a joke. You are a force to be reckoned with.
Marius, that might be the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I know.
But I
And-
suppose the more important question is it true? And he beams at you, Marius.
It is. And I don't take risks like these lightly. But if there's something I believe in her.
And everyone at the table begins clapping, very politely.
Could
Brainy
I-
will.
Yes, Luna.
I'm so sorry. I just
No.
wanted to see, like, if I could insight.
If I could get in
people
with the
who are-
Bahari real quick, because I don't have another character.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
pick
yeah, yeah. No. No, if I could inside see, like, how many, if the people around us are, I don't know, interested
Yeah.
in that proposition, if they're,
Yeah,
if that rouses
what's an insight me?
anything.
Mhm. What's an insight me?
Vibe check.
Vibe check.
Everyone vibe check.
Yeah.
We're gonna pause.
Actually, yeah, no. I want to
Pause for a
we're gonna
break.
vibe
Yeah,
check.
can I
From
also
this.
make that roll?
Yeah, everyone run a vibe check if you want to. Arthur's
God
like,
of
I
War.
should have become Baron. I could have made this deal if I was Baron. I know I could have.
Yep, 3.
Could have been a contender.
I could have been a contender. Marlon Brando up in here. Oh god. 3.
Well, Zach has a personal beef with the circulatory system, but nevertheless.
yeah.
Yeah. I have weird feelings about the circuit.
Oh
Laura
yeah, it's
does.
like,
You know.
well, as all of us as human beings in the real world should have a terrible feeling.
We
with the
ought to, yes.
circulatory system.
Yeah. No, we.
What? Human beings should not be cool with human trafficking? What?
That's crazy. That's wild.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's
3
wild.
successes, by the way.
3. Everyone's rolling 3. Luna, what'd you roll?
5 on a crit.
Yeah, I know that's really high pull for you.
Hey.
Did you roll, Avery?
No. In fact, I would like to use Sense the Beast on Andreas, if that would be okay.
Yeah. Roll me. I think it's what is it? Charisma and animal? Not charisma.
It is Resolve.
and animalism. Charisma. Yeah. All of you can see that they are genuinely excited by the idea that Brienne might be a person who will overtake Iverson. They all seem to be genuinely excited about that idea.
With my crit, could I see if they would be? This is a bit of a big ask, but if they'd be willing to like help, like if they feel driven, maybe to like, yeah,
Yes.
I could get behind that.
Yes,
Okay,
you
cool.
get that impression.
Awesome.
And as you already incited, you get the impression that they are a lot more than what's just in this room.
Yes. Yes.
And he's already told you that they were not struck by the Hecata. They may have lost 2 bloodlines in the strife, but they were not hit by the SI at all. So they claim. Your Sense the Beast roll, Avery.
Crit +1, 5.
Well, you can see that he's a vampire. He is at 1 hunger, so he's not bestial in any way at the moment. What else are you trying to decipher from him?
I'm looking for if there's real hostility in him, or if this is a fake.
If there's real hostility in him, yeah, you pick up the it's a hostility you're not super familiar with. It's not coming from a place of physical anger. It's coming from a place of, let's call it, there's an actual Latin word for it that the Ventru are often fond of, and I'm blanking on it at the moment. Like a loss of pride, like a pride thing.
Indignation?
Yeah, indignation, yeah. Dignitas.
There we go.
Dignitas.
Dignitas.
Is the word I was looking
That's
for.
the fucking word.
Yeah, that's where this emotion is coming from. And you get that sense from, since you're using sense, everyone in the room.
Now, dear host, you made mention when we introduced ourselves that you were impressed that we had similar goals, and yet I seem to be living mine. I started this under Quentin King, but I continued it under Iverson, and it is due to a connection to the city at large and my ability to work with the people available. Now, granted, I have not been slighted in the way that you have, but I ask once again, short of an overthrow that you are presenting to my coterie mates here, is there no other path forward for you?
He looks at you very intently. I did not recognize you. Perhaps I think we did not meet. I was there when your sire introduced you to Quentin's court. I was there at the celebration after the Sabbat were destroyed and you were chosen. Ah, I do remember you. It's lovely to see you again. Your ability to stay in the Camarilla makes much more sense now, and unfortunately it's not something that is granted to members who are outside of the sex. As for your question of whether there's another way, there is. My family and I will leave, if there is no other way. We will pick up my child in Berlin, has the most astounding mission that he's put upon himself, and apparently is quite successful at it so far. And we will be there to support him in his endeavor.
So then the actual answer is that no, there isn't another way. There is this way or the highway.
If that's how you'd like to phrase it, Arthur.
Well, I'll just look to my coterie. Oh.
If you offer me an assurance, and we will take you at your word, for we have broken bread together, so to speak. If you offer me an assurance that plans are being made, that moves are being taken to remove Iverson as head of the Ivory Tower here in Boston, that will satisfy us enough. Should you require assistance in removing her fully, then you have our aid, should it come to that. We would never want to steal your thunder, Miss Perkins. But unfortunately, we need a yes or a no to that question.
Signor Giovanni, there is something that I believe would make me feel a little more comfortable answering this question. You mentioned Richard Dunham.
Yes.
Does he actually roll his eyes, or is that a Huddy?
No. I would never roll my eyes at you, Laura.
That's a lie, because I know him a lot.
No. Wait till you meet me in person.
I take it by your reaction that we have similar feelings about him.
Iverson put him in charge of my circulatory system. She gave my red salon to Beryl. Yes, I can't hold the grudge against Beryl. I mean, I could, because I could rip him from the Shadowlands and bring him here to torture him. I haven't. I could. But yes, Richard is still on the side of the unliving, and he took what was mine. I don't like that.
Would it please you then to learn that he has been, well, last I heard, Last I saw, he was in torpor and being carted off somewhere.
Yes, I suppose that does bring the undead heart to beat a little.
I need to find him.
He's not here.
You
I
said
could
something
use-
about ghosts, so
Yes, and Marius, if you've had Sense the Unseen on this entire dinner, you've seen 12 ghosts that have come in and out of this room multiple times. They all seem to be servants of all these Hecata around the table.
say somebody died like a really shitty death. That would make him a ghost, right? That's what the shows say anyway.
We're not here giving away trade secrets. That's not the purpose of this meeting.
Well, I'm just saying, if I gave you a name, could you pull somebody up?
Before we do favors for you, Kaval, I need a yes or a no to the question.
I'm going to look at each member of my coterie because while I understand that Kindred as a whole are insular, backstabbing creatures, we have been brought into this together. And I don't intend to barrel forward without the rest of them. So I'll look to Marius.
I'm here for Prince Perkins.
I'll look to Celeste.
Celeste doesn't say anything, but she exchanges with you a very intense look that says she's behind you, but you know there's something behind it that you could ask her about later.
Gonna put a pin in that. Think. I will look to Arthur.
My dedication is to Boston. Whatever Boston may be.
And I'll look to Vern.
Vern will push himself up from the mid table and walk over to Bryony and put his hands on the back of her chair, the tips of his fingers touching her shoulder as he leans into her ear, so close that with the parting of syllables, his lips brush against that skin just behind the ear. If you let scumbags king make you, your throne will be as weak as they are.
An answer, Miss Perkins, if you please.
I'll turn my head a little to Vern. A foundation needs somewhere to start. Yes.
And everyone at the table claps, a little bit louder this time. Even Saris, who is sort of lounging in one of these Rococo chairs with her legs up, begins to clap. Very almost sarcastically like that. And Andreas stands up and he says, "Which ghost is it that you need recovered?"
I've got the GPS from their car out in our vehicle. I can go get it if you want. Her name's Sarah Milton.
Get it. Give it to Echo. And he's the one in the obsidian mask with the wide eyes. He will find your ghost, and you may speak to it.
I do got another favor to ask when you got time, Andres.
You are welcome to come back here. Cabal, I understand that your child and Echo are very close.
That's
And
exactly what I wanted to talk to you about.
She is always welcome here.
You mean that?
Yes, but I'm guessing there's another meaning behind your words. We have a ceremony to attend now, but you are free to drink your fill, eat your fill as much as you would like, and leave when it pleases you. Echo will stay behind for the ceremony, for your ceremony. We have another one to attend to. Ahihai Lilitu. And they all stand up. And before we go to our break, everyone can roll me intelligence and occult as he says that. So we get a full picture of the deal that you just made with who you just made it with. Nothing. Too.
Gonna rouse.
Vern doesn't know anything.
A bit hungrier.
Vern
Actually,
knows
no,
how.
I'm going to razz my blood as well.
Vern knows how to be angry too.
Yeah. Well, that's 2 on 2 dice.
Yeah. Come on, Mike.
I'm gonna willpower.
My occult babe, Marius, has got to come through with this one. But the problem is Marius
Four after I rouse the blood.
Marius won't say anything though.
Oh. Okay,
That's the
fuck,
problem.
fine, I'll rouse the
Dude.
blood.
What about you,
Don't get hungrier.
Luna?
Oh, I got 2.
Okay, so no, only Arthur knows. Ahihai Lilitu is a very common saying that is revering the Dark Mother, aka Lilith. As they all stand up in unison and leave.
I think we might have very literally made a deal with the devil.
We are already damned, Arthur, depending on who you talk to.
Honestly.
The devil's not real and God's a fucking deadbeat. I'm gonna go get the GPS.
And as you go get the GPS, we're going to pause for our break here. We will do the ceremony with Sarah Moulton, and then we'll move on. So we're going to take a break right here, everybody. So the family dinner has concluded, and Brienne is going to make moves, apparently, to become Prince of Boston, which we all can't wait to see that. And Vern, you've brought Echo, the GPS from Sarah Moulton. And as I've described Echo before, you can't see their hair or any really thing about their facial features. They're wearing a purely obsidian mask. Their eyes are completely white. So you wouldn't be able to draw them in a lineup or anything like that. He seems to have a lot of occult stuff here. And he's simply waiting for you at the dining table to return with it. Cyrus is still in here as well. Does everyone stay in here for the ceremony?
Vern will approach Echo, holding the GPS out. So, you and Sarah spend a lot of time together, huh?
When Echo speaks, he speaks in 2 different vocal cords. One that sounds very feminine, and one that sounds a little bit more masculine. And he says,
Yes, I enjoy spending time with Saras very much.
2 you are together then?
When she is here, we are together.
And if she was here all the time, that would suit you fine.
he looks at Cyrus and looks back at you.
I would like that very much. I don't believe Saras wants to stay here.
They'll kind of look to Cyrus. There might not be a lot of other options. But you would live for them.
Cyrus, with her long leg, sort of juts her large boot right at your face, as she's never sitting appropriately. And she says, just let him do the ritual, please.
Yeah, you got it. And I'll hand over the GPS.
And he begins his work on it. Pours his blood over it.
Is that a rouse check, since I'm standing so close?
No, you can back up in time for him. He has other things, incense and things in jars that you don't know what they are. He set something alight that smokes. He rolled 9 successes. And yeah. And what's odd is that not from the GPS, but from the mirror comes out a spectral visage of Sarah Milton. She floats from the mirror on the wall to the center of the table, and she looks exactly the way that she did the night that you saw her. When she was dying, she has a huge, even her corpus, as it would be called, has a huge slash marks from jaw to clavicle. And Echo says,
She must answer you truthfully, and she is bound here until I release her. Ask your questions, they must be brief.
Where did you leave Richard Dunham?
nope. Sarah says, who is Richard Dunham?
The body you took from the rubble.
I took the vampire from the rubble to Church of the Open Bible in Burlington, Massachusetts. Do you ask her anything else?
Look around at everybody else. Any other questions, comments, concerns, allegations? And then Vern will look back. How long were you under the influence of Quentin King?
And her response is, who is Quentin King? And with that final question, she is sucked back into the mirror.
Fuck.
Echo says,
If you have further requirements of the Hecata and our services, or any news for the furthering of your own advancement, Miss Perkins, please feel free to come by anytime. Thank you for joining us for family dinner.
Thank you for your hospitality. We will be in touch.
Excellent.
and he takes Eris's hand, and she sort of walks over the table, and they leave this room.
Church of the Open Bible. Ring any bells for anybody?
Does it?
Does it?
It's,
I've heard of
it's
it.
even farther away from Boston, so no.
Alright, well, it looks like we got a fucking drive to make. Let's go.
All right.
So you leave this strange, macabre, as Arthur described it, Italian-style dinner, but also the Addams Family place, and head back to the Range Rover, this time without Saris. But as you're leaving, it seems that Saris slipped away from Echo, Celeste, and you're the last one out, and she appears out of the wall and grabs onto you, maybe a little startlingly.
What?
I have to tell you something. I wasn't going to, but I have to.
Okay.
I'm burned with Ezra now. Don't know if your coterie told you, but I'm kicked out of the Anarch, so I'm no use to him now. So I don't feel a particular loyalty to him anymore. So I feel like I should warn you about something.
Go on.
You know how your sire is always telling you how replaceable you are?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
He has your replacement. He's had your replacement picked out for a while. And when he means he wants to replace you, if you don't further his own goals, he doesn't just mean that he's going to kick you to the curb. He means he's going to literally replace you.
Who is it?
Maybe you should ask your coteries, maybe someone older, what happens when thin bloods consume the souls of full bloods.
I'll do just that.
Good.
Thanks for the information.
Yeah, you owe me. And she walks back into the wall.
Sure. And I'll catch up with everyone.
So you get into the Range Rover and you drive off. You may have a brief, I'm so sorry, because conversation in this car about anything that has occurred or anything you want.
So that was fucked. Can I say fucked?
I think
It's a little fucked.
it's a little fucked.
To say the least.
Okay. Second, so it wouldn't be more fucked if I ask a question after saying that event was fucked.
You might as well.
Okay. Seneschal, I think that sounds great.
I don't see why not.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna need one of yous that can play with memories to pull that conversation out of my head, please.
Why?
I might be able to do that.
Because if somebody else comes rooting through my brain, they'll see it.
That's fair.
Only one of you sitting in this chat has the ability to actually restore all of Vern's memories. And you know who you are.
Yeah. What if you could have all your memories back?
There are some that are better. Like that conversation, there's some better left gone, but I mean, it would be nice. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason I don't remember shit, and maybe it's a good reason. I don't know. I won't know until I know, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Can't really pick and choose.
Yeah, I'm. Let's put a pin in that. Maybe, but I just really need that conversation at the tail end of dinner, like, gone. Iverson's done it before when I've been off the lead for a while. She'll just pick through. And I don't want to fuck us over. I can't really resist it, if I'm being honest.
I mean, if we're on agreement that that's in our best interest.
It's not my decision.
He has agency here.
If that's what you want, Fern.
I just don't want to fuck anybody over.
All right.
If you're
Okay.
not resisting Vern, and Celeste, if you are agreed to do this, all I need is a rouse check.
Yeah.
I don't need a counter roll or a roll for that.
I get hungry.
Okay, well, you know, these things come at a cost.
Yeah.
But you look at
Okay.
Vern, and what is it that you say to him to remove this from his mind?
The conversation at the tail end of with the Hecata dinner. Let's forget about that, shall we?
And Vern, you do forget. You have no idea what deal was struck with the Hecata, if any at all.
Perfect. All right. She left Dick at a church.
Of course she did.
Does anybody have an issue with that? I know it's a common occurrence amongst our kind.
Shockingly, no.
No, it's just annoying.
Great.
Celeste says, having had to live in a church for so long.
I'm personally a fan of synagogues and not really much of a fan of churches, but you know, we'll get by.
Have we never had this discussion, Vern?
What discussion?
Synagogues.
Oh, I just like them.
Oh,
Arthur, if you have an inclination that you have at one point discussed synagogues with Vern and Vern doesn't remember, you pretty sure you know the reason why that might be.
that makes sense, of course.
Oh.
Yeah, so I gotta admit, I've never heard of this place, and I mean, I was a dog catcher up and down fucking mass. So I've been to a lot of places. I've never been to Burlington for any fucking reason. So I would like to say I feel good about going into this, but I don't know what we're gonna fucking walk into here. So
Something tells me we're probably all in the same boat on that one.
how do we want to
Unfortunately.
approach this? Because we can't like just leave without him, right? Like I'm not crazy.
No. I would like this particular errand to be done. Just done. Fully done.
And if Dick's awake,
Can't you just punch him into torpor again?
You did a really good job of that.
It's true.
Right.
That was really impressive.
Truly.
Like, honest to God.
Dick and I go way back. That wasn't something that I did in a moment of thought.
But what if you did?
I mean, if that's what I'm being asked to do,
If
I'm not
it
opposed.
if it becomes necessary, Vern, I would be much appreciative.
Okay.
Luna, did I see that you wanted to say something, or did I missee that?
I didn't, but actually now that something has come to mind, really quick. I set my XP over break. Is that
Yes, I
going
saw.
to count?
Yeah, I'll allow it. I saw
Okay,
it.
thank you. I'm so sorry.
No, I saw it.
In that case, then I'll say I've been practicing with something Ezra taught me. I can look through shadows. I can scout. I can also meld with Olvido and scout that way.
Fascinating.
I mean, yeah. I mean, whatever we gotta do, it's just it's gonna be a fucking church. So I don't know what scouting a church looks like for you, but
Well, what scouting at church looks like, we're going to find out in just a second. Because as you pull into Burlington, which is very close to Warren, it's only the next town over, you pull into the corner of Wynn and Wyman Street. And what you see is a brick building and a rather large parking lot for the size of the church. It's a red brick with tall and narrow windows, and has big white doors and a sign that's in granite that literally looks like an open Bible, and it says Church of the Open Bible.
I'm just gonna go up and knock if that's cool with everybody.
I think we might want to make sure that dear old Dick is actually inside. Celeste, do you want to?
We just had that conversation about it.
Yeah, you can use my shadow, right?
I
Defeats
guess.
the purpose.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding what's going on here.
Reconnaissance, the thing that you do before you step through a door, usually.
Celeste, would you like to activate Shadow Perspective?
I would.
Make me a Ross check.
I'm good.
So you listen into some of the shadows that are surrounding the church. Now, you're the exterior of the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make you make a roll for it, because everything that you hear people singing.
God.
Singing is maybe the wrong word. Let's call it chanting.
Yeah, she says, "Oh God, they're like chanting. This is kind of creepy." I'll take the Hecata dinner over this, honestly.
Oh
Oh,
God.
it's one of those churches.
Specifically, the words that you make out before you cut it off is "Praise God from whom all blessings flow." Which, if anyone, it's part of the doxology.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Nothing pertinent to Richard, unfortunately.
So you want me to go up and knock?
I don't have any better ideas, honestly.
Unfortunately
Sure.
not.
I'm just saying, if they got, like, if they're like militant crazy, like fucking what's the fucking the Kool-Aid people, Heaven's Gate.
Can you make me a wits and awareness roll, Celeste?
Yes. As I do, that's just like those are two different calls.
There.
She's right.
What's 2 more dice and then 2 dice.
You can add your dots and oblivion to that roll as well.
Ooh, wow, that's a lot of dice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, buddy.
Wow, Owen Wilson. Wow.
6 on a messy crit.
Okay, so increase your hunger one more time.
Okay.
Hit 3. And the only voices that you hear singing Praise God from whom all blessings flow sound masculine.
All right. Sounds like their leader is masculine.
It's multiple
Or
voices.
at least, or multiple. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
it's a whole-
misunderstood.
It sounds loud enough to be a congregation, but you only hear masculine sounding voices.
I understand. Only masculine voices are chanting, but there's a lot of people in there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna knock. Fuck this. And Vern will get out of the car.
That's fair. I was having a moment of like, I don't think Brienne would know enough about the religiosity of the masses.
Religiosity? Yeah.
No.
Well, let's find out about some religiosity. So you walk up to these starkly white doors, and there is a knocker on them, an old-fashioned one.
Yeah, Vern will knock.
No one comes right away, but eventually someone does. And it's a rather portly man, portly ginger man, with he's wearing a blue button-up and a tie and dress slacks, and he opens the door, and he says, "Yes, hello. May I help you?"
Sarah Milton sent me to check on somebody she dropped off here.
You're dressed rather oddly. And he looks at everyone else around him. He averts his eyes, specifically from Brainy and Celeste.
Oh, did we all walk up?
He can see you from the parking lot, I assume, unless you're all
Okay,
staying in the
that's
car.
fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm sorry if my address offends you.
Your dress doesn't offend me, sir.
So, yeah, if you don't mind, I got places to be. I need to make this check-in, and then I have places to be this evening. I'm so sorry for the rush.
Where is Sarah?
Indisposed.
You should speak with the pastor then. Come this way. And he holds the door open.
Yeah, Vern walking.
Is anyone else walking?
Archdear,
Yes.
can I borrow your jacket?
Most certainly.
Gonna put that on and button it all the way up because I think that's what the problem was. I feel like Breeny's smart enough to clock that.
Sure.
Okay, we're just gonna do that.
Celeste famously said, "I don't apologize for who I am."
Listen, if it'll smooth
right.
shit over.
Does everyone enter into the church? Maria says yes.
Yeah, I'll go.
I'm
Celeste
not
says
leaving
yes.
Marius behind.
The more people that start to go, the more Arthur will go.
All right. So you head in, and it's a strange smell here. It sounds like the rugs here were just freshly cleaned, or maybe they are often cleaned. You'll smell fresh flowers in here. And this room is called the narthex. Before you get into the main part of the chapel, everything is covered in this blue. I don't even know how to describe the material. Everything is covered in this strange blue carpeting that's not plush. It's almost like astroturf for the inside. And he leads you into that part of the room. There's a large black, I guess obsidian again, a large black slab that you see right when you enter along the wall. And in its is carved, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God," Matthew 5:8. He leads you through the church, and you see in the church where you heard the chanting coming from, Celeste, you see men are standing and chanting the doxology, and women are sitting and silently praying. He leads you through the part of the church. The women don't look up at any of you, but the men do. Some of them do, anyway. Leads you down some stairs behind the organ. Down some more stairs until you're at the very bowels. It seems that this church goes below a couple of levels. Till you get to a very large hall with linoleum floor. The giant sign that says Fellowship Hall. And there's more scripture writing in here. And it says, "Your wrath has come, as has the time for judging the dead, for rewarding your servants, and for destroying those who destroy the earth." Revelation 12:8. And here in this room, you see 5 men sitting at a table, a circular table. It seems there's a lot of chairs that were put up, lining the walls. Seems like the chairs get put up and off when there's certain services in this room, whatever this room is. The Fellowship Hall, that's what they call it. And there are also women in this room, but they're standing along the walls. Much like it was a very strange dichotomy between the Hecata, like Huddy's doing this on purpose. And sorry. And there's women lining the walls. The women are dressed very, very, very modestly. All of them are wearing loose-fitting clothes. All of them have very short hair. And none of them are speaking, but the men are all speaking. And as you enter into this room, you see that every once in a while a woman comes over and refills one of their water glasses and then quickly goes back to standing. The men see that and all of them stand when this man enters into the room, and he introduces himself as Samuel. One of them does not stand, however, the one at the front. And he says, "Pastor John, this man here says that he has news about Sarah, or that she's indisposed, and he's here to check on the package."
Really quickly, storyteller, as we step in, I just made a quick roll here. I'm rousing for Blush of Life. It occurs to me as we're walking in with the more eyes on us. As we go into a hallway, I just quick rouse for Blush of Life.
That was very smart of you, Arthur. Would anyone else like to do that?
Sure,
No,
yeah.
I'll take that.
If you're given the option, Arthur will say very quietly, "Look alive, people."
Oh, yeah. I always forget about that.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're dead. Whoopsies.
I legitimately always forget that that's a thing.
Do not
I do
get
too until a
hungry.
lot of eyes
I
are
don't
on me.
care either.
So, as I said, 4 of these men stand up. One of them does not. And the one who does not stand up, though, does address you all. And he says, "Be welcome, friends. I do not know of you, nor your association with Sarah Milton. How did you come to find our congregation?"
Sarah just told me tonight, actually, that I needed to come check on the package.
Manipulation, subterfuge.
Sure. Horrid pool for Vern. I would like to rouse the blood.
You may.
Crap.
Crap.
All right. I do not get any hungrier. 7 successes, 1 crit.
7 to 7. And in what regard are you supposed to be checking on? The package is perfectly secure. What regard to it?
I just need to see it, speak to it, and we can be on our way.
And what organization do you work for?
The Second Inquisition.
He smiles broadly. It seems, gentlemen, we have let leeches into our church. And they all look very concerned. You see, it is only the supernatural who refer to us as such. We call ourselves by no such name.
Well, then let's cut to brass tacks. Your girl was a fucking ghoul.
Sarah was a ghoul, yes. I released her.
Great. So let's make some kind of accord here. Because you got a bunch of, I'm sure, lovely folks upstairs. We're not here to make no fucking trouble.
You couldn't possibly make trouble for me.
You know, I honestly believe you. So let's come up with something in the interest of both of us going on with our nights on what's the fucking word? Unabated.
I understand that you are dead, and perhaps have long ago fallen away from any of your humanity. Here in the human world, we start with introductions.
Cabal.
Don't all speak up at once now.
Wise.
Art.
You can call me the Prodigy.
Perkins.
My name is Pastor John Berquist. I am the leader of this congregation and of this church. I could force you from this place quite easily, but I don't feel the need to do so. I do feel the need to know why you're after the package that we have. So please be honest. And if you threaten any of the people under my care, you will sorely come to regret it. And he rolls himself away from the table. He is in a wheelchair.
The package is required by someone you don't need to be concerned with.
Vern, if I may.
Just don't make a mess, please, Arthur.
Oh no, not in the slightest. Pastor, there are several interested parties seeking this package, many of whom wish ill will and have no issue whatsoever. In fact, great joy in causing destruction, mayhem, chaos, and death to get at this package and many others like it. We would like to take it somewhere where they cannot get to it and where they will cause more concentrated damage. You may have the ability to drive us from your church. You may have the ability to drive them from your church, but I would hate to see them, and please understand, not a threat. I would hate to see them cause damage to your church and people before you get to them. They will do this. They delight in it.
I appreciate your candor, sir, and your concern for my flock. Unfortunately, I can't give you the asset. He is both useful for a personal reason of mine, and I'm attempting to help him achieve his salvation. And I'm sorry that can't be interrupted right now.
Then perhaps if you have made this decision and you wish to subject your congregation to this fallout, that is your prerogative. May we at least communicate with him to learn where the others are.
You are speaking of the knights.
Once again, we would like to minimize the fallout that these other groups would cause on the city.
For reasons personal, if you would agree to bring me these knights that Sarah promised to bring, I could perhaps see my way into releasing the asset.
That still leaves us at an impasse of, we haven't seen him. We need a confirmation of status, and that one and I go way back. So if you wouldn't mind, I know his form the best, and I'll be able to tell if you've tampered with him or not.
Yes, I suppose that seems fair. He lifts his arms up from where they were at his sides, and you can see that they are absolutely destroyed, covered in burn marks. They are almost enclosed in like this. He says, would one of you be so kind as to push my wheelchair, and I will lead you to where he is.
Vern will step forward and put his hands on the handles.
He doesn't seem afraid of you, Vern, or any of you.
And I think in a strange turn of events, Vern doesn't look as uncomfortable with the social situation as he has in the past.
So, he has you lead you down to a room behind the Fellowship Hall. Seems to be, almost looks like a closet space, very narrow. You have to walk file together. And he, keypad here, and he slices a key that he has with his fingers, like this. The door slides away, or the wall rather. And inside seems to be a box. A glass box. Oh god, this is gonna be a hard roll. Everyone, what's an insight or what's no? What's an awareness or what's an insight? This is hard. This is a
I'm
hard
gonna
roll.
blood buff.
I'll rouse you.
Yeah, I will.
Don't get hungrier.
Oh, sorry, Vern.
I'll rouse.
I just keep track of your hunger. You're at 4 hunger, Celeste.
I'll burn a willpower to see if I can get that extra in there.
The beast within you, Celeste, is furious and it's screaming at you. Kill him. He's alone. You have him alone. Eat him. Do it now. Eliminate him. Take your prize and be gone.
7 critical after that willpower.
It's wits and what now? The roll.
Either awareness or insight, whichever's higher for you. I'm trying to be
Awareness.
generous because this is really difficult.
Well, I appreciate your generosity.
Spent willpower, got 6 successes.
I have also spent willpower and gotten 6 successes.
Wonderful. Fern, no idea. No clue. What are you seeing in this room?
A 7 critical.
Perfect. So everyone besides Vern, as you enter into the room, you see Richard Dunham looking just as horrifically shabby as he did, still injured, still healing his own injuries, looking as horrifically shabby and terrible as he did the night you last saw him a couple of weeks ago. He is inside of a glass box. He has a collar around his neck that seems to be blinking red. And he's also wearing a strange cage contraption. You're not quite sure what it does, but it's like a wooden cage built around his torso. And all of you, based on what has happened in Boston, maybe through your sires or through personal interest, were very interested in what the Second Inquisition were doing once they were gone, and this is all stuff you heard about from what they were doing. This contraption, you believe, is sort of an auto-stake mechanism, in the sense where there's not a stake here, but this thing will shatter and propel itself forward, so shattered pieces of wood will enter into the heart. You think that there might be an open wound on Richard where it is covering. The collar, if he leaves this box, the collar will implode, taking his head with it. And the box itself looks like something out of the Second Inquisition, something for experimentation. And inside the box, Richard seems to be doing exactly that, experimentation. He seems to have a chemistry set. He seems to be doing something with a chemistry set.
So when you say box, you mean it's like a small room?
Like a human prison made out of glass.
Okay.
Oh, like a Hannibal Lecter cell.
Yes. Cool.
Do you mind?
Right out of
Do you
Swanson.
mind, John, if I go in and speak with him?
You are all free to speak with the asset.
Your hospitality is duly noted.
Richard doesn't seem to even notice that you're in the room.
I don't step into the room. I'm willing to talk with the Second Inquisition. I'm not willing to step into their prison box for them.
Well, in order to see this, you have to be in the room.
So is John in the room with us?
Yes.
Like in the glass box room?
So the room is not the glass. So there is a glass box in the room.
Right. I'm not stepping into the glass box room.
No. There is no option to step into the glass box room. You have to speak to him through the glass.
Perfect. Wonderful. Love that.
Yeah, Vern will step up to the glass. Hey, Dickie.
He says, "Not now, dog."
No, we gotta talk.
Can't talk. Working. I'm busy.
What you working on, Dick?
I'm working on a cure.
For?
John answers that question. I'm trying to help this one seek salvation. One of your kind is spreading a very ancient disease through this city. I'm having him work on a cure.
Is that right?
I'm gonna.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at Marius.
I gotta. My pool. I get to be Luna. My insight's ass. But can I roll?
Yeah. My insight's ass. Can I roll it anyway? What's an insight? Sure. Everyone may make this roll. And I need to clarify that when you're inciting a person, as long as they believe they're telling the truth, that is the truth.
4 critical.
Uh-huh. Nope, Vern, you don't know anything. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Can I keep my previous blood buff?
Yeah. As long as you buffed it once and we're still in the scene. If we leave the scene, I ain't gotta do it again.
Gotcha.
Oh, in that case, then
I'll let you buff for the scene. Because it's the only rule from V20 I really, really like, so I kept it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I know.
I rolled 2 extra dice. I got 6 successes.
Mm-hmm. My high blood potency girlies. Love it.
8 successes.
Yep. So everyone besides Vern, again, seems to be genuinely telling the truth.
I'm going to speak up with awe and melpomene.
If you do that,
Focus
on Richard or on John?
Richard.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I speak up and say, Richard, would you mind looking at us, please?
Roll me charisma, persuasion, and your dots in awe, and your 2 extra dots for melpomene. Or no, is there extra dots for melpomene?
No, it just makes it my voice and not eye contact.
Yeah.
Just real quick while we're doing the dice thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm remembering correctly, Junie is also doing this work, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Correct, but no one has any idea whether Junie can do this, or has made any progress.
To be fair, we don't know if Richard has made any progress either.
That is correct. What did you roll, Zach?
I'm counting.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Oh, joy.
4, 5, 6, 7. I'm taking a screenshot again.
Good grief.
It is 4, 5, 6, 7. 12 critical?
Okay. So Richard does look up at you, but his hands continue to move. He looks
That's okay.
completely dead-eyed.
And I'm just going to look to Vern for him to talk again.
Dick, I gotta ask you some questions.
What do you want to know, dog?
Have you been talking to the king?
When the king speaks to me, I answer the king, of course. Stupid dog.
Yeah. What are you working on, Dick?
I'm working on a cure. I have already answered this question.
A cure for what?
A cure for the disease, dog.
Yeah. Do you want to go back to the salon?
His hand stopped moving for a single second. Can't go back. Destroyed. All my
Not
work.
all of it.
All my work gone.
Not all of it.
Are you here to free me, dog?
If that's what you want.
Then let me make my cure, and then I can go.
All right.
And John sort of speaks up sorrowfully. He's been working on this cure for quite some time. I am no master chemist, but I'm also no slouch. I did go to university. I do not think he's making the progress he thinks he's making.
Yeah, maybe if he had access to his own supplies, they'd be different.
For my personal reasons, I can't release you unless I have another asset.
Could you tell us a bit more about this disease that you're trying to cure? Are you speaking about us, or is there an actual disease?
You speak to John?
Yes.
There is an ancient disease spreading through the city. I am not entirely sure what it is called. You can read it on the news reports and the newspapers. The Lord tells me that it is ancient.
What does it do?
From what I've read, the people are filled with pustules and get extremely ill and fatigued until then die.
That would... I'll look to the group really quickly. That would be the bubonic plague.
As I said, my Lord told me it was an ancient disease.
Your God talk to you often?
Since I was a child.
Yeah, I bet.
I will say I certainly won't fault you for wanting to cure the bubonic plague, but I have a bit of a grudge against the person that's spreading this at the moment, so do know that we're operating on the same page in this regard. They're one of the aforementioned that would raise your house down.
They cannot harm this place.
I hope you're right for your sake.
I think we're done here.
As you wish. As I said, if you bring me the knights that Sarah discovered, I'd be willing to let this one go.
Yeah.
But I need some proof that it was all not for naught.
Oh, God wouldn't let you work in vain, would he?
I've always believed so.
Yeah, he's got a way about him like that. Do you mind if I push your chair again, John?
I don't think I could stop you.
I think we both know that's a lie. It's a nice lie, though.
Is this the chatty one of your little group?
Usually not.
Nah, just like you. I
If
think
any
you
of
and
you-
I are going to get to know each other real well, John.
If you are seeking salvation, you are more than welcome to come back here. Any of you are. Because if you think that you cannot be saved, then you have not seen the white hot power of the Lord.
We'll see. We'll see, John. I'm an easy sell. My friends here, it's kind of hard to sell half of them on shutting the fuck up when they're inside the doors.
I'd be more than happy to show you a demonstration.
Maybe another time. Shall we?
As you wish.
And Vern will
We-
push him back to the fellowship hall.
Before we step out on stage, should we confirm these locations with Richard if he happens to know where they are? Or are we just going to run around? No? Okay.
We're still here. We can. There's no harm in asking.
Before you go, may I ask, what happened to Sarah? I assume that she has gone home to the Lord, since she is not here, and would not betray us thus.
Werewolves killed her.
Ah, the shapeshifters.
Yeah.
I've met one before.
I think you might be liable to meet one again. I don't think she kept her mouth shut about where she'd been.
I do not fear them.
I know, John.
May I ask where she died? Yes,
No.
please.
No, please. I would love to hear the interrogation of her death.
Taking one from Marius's book, Vern will just say, no.
It matters little where her body lays. Her soul has gone to heaven. I simply
No, it
wanted
hasn't.
to know where she had been, so that I may check it off the list of locations.
Yeah, well, John, I get that you're chair-bound and everything, and I want you to know I respect that, but I'm not on your payroll, and I'm not going to do your work for you.
As you
You'll
wish.
figure it out. You're a smart kid. You'll sort it.
I believe you need the salvation most of all. Are you still near his chair?
Yeah, I'm holding the handles, getting ready to start pushing it back to the fellowship hall.
He's gonna reach back and touch you. Are you gonna let him?
No, and in fact, I would like to fleetness pull my hand away.
Sure. As you do that, he sort of smiles. I would never imagine a kind like you to be so afraid of the human touch. Or is it simply these that scare you?
And Vern will kind of crouch down behind the chair so he's at ear level. I like you, John. You'll touch me when I'm ready.
What a strange invitation. Is there anything else that I can do for the rest of you?
Perhaps. I haven't seen a Bible in a millennia, but I think it was Exodus 22:18. I think the phrase goes, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And ironically, here I stand, not to negate anything, but perhaps maybe we can strike a second deal. We really need our friend.
I have laid out the terms of his release. The very, very chatty one who is afraid of my touch seems to be speaking for you all, and perhaps that is how you organize yourselves. I do not know. John, this entire time, has never stopped smiling, by the way.
Yep.
Ew.
Richard, dear, would you be able to confirm the locations that we have for these nights?
Locations?
Where the Knights of the Round Table are buried?
And he looks. Ask the dog.
Like I said, I think our work's done.
Very well.
Shall we, John?
As I said, I can't stop you.
You're a good liar.
Lying is a sin.
You know something about it, though.
So you wheel him out. I already asked, but I'll ask again. Is there anything else that I or my congregation can do for you this evening?
I think I speak for all my friends when I say we'll be in touch.
I notice you tend to speak for the women in your group, which is not so dissimilar from our belief system. Perhaps you should think about that.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Get the fuck out of here.
I think Celeste shoves past and just bursts through the door.
So you have to walk all the way back up, all through this windy church, up several floors. You see the people, they're still in there, they're still chanting. And as you pass by one of the rooms, wits and awareness. Let's see if you hear it. I'll give an extra die for our Oblivion gal. I'll give an extra die to Arthur for no particular reason.
Okay. No particular reason.
No particular reason. 4.
5.
5.
6.
Yes, everyone but Briony. Briony's sort of trying to get the hell out of here faster than everyone else. All of you hear moaning, but not maybe the pleasure moaning that you might have heard at the tail end of leaving the Hecata mansion. This moaning sounds like someone in pain. Many someone's in pain. It's coming from a room that's just to your right in this long hallway that you're heading up, where you have to head up another flight of stairs. Do you investigate it, or do you let it slide? Keep going.
Vern
Well, you
will-
can't say that to us. First of all,
I
Vern
can.
will look
I
back
didn't hear
at Celeste and kind of bop his head towards the door.
I'm gonna see what it is.
Do you peek in?
And I will use, can I slip my shadow underneath the door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to see through your shadow?
Yes.
Okay. You see through your shadow. You see that there are many people in convalescence beds. People of varying ages. And they seem to be very ill. Seems a makeshift hospital has been set up here.
It's like the victims of that plague they were talking about.
The people who are attending them are all women. And as you're listening with your shadow, someone does exit out of the room, and she seems extremely startled. But she doesn't say anything.
Apologies.
She just shakes her head and sort of backs her way back into the room.
oh, now it's making sense. Okay. Do you think if we offered Junie services?
No. Not here.
I'm
Well, if that
personally more
means-
inclined. I'm personally more inclined to let Richard do his work and simply help to end the spread of this disease by stomping out every single rat.
Let's talk in the car.
Yep.
I hate to be that bitch, but I am that bitch. Marius is going to turn around and stomp her way back. Her way back.
Does anyone follow?
I'm not leaving Marius on their own.
Yeah, just
Same.
Fuck all I can do, but shit, I'm not leaving you by yourself, bitch.
After 2 compliments tonight.
Vern, I need to know if you're following or not.
Yeah.
All right, so y'all stomp your way back. John doesn't seem surprised that you're back. He has a big smile on his face still. And he says, "Welcome back. I didn't expect it to be so soon."
I'm trying to really contain myself. We couldn't help but overhear the wonderful sounds of people dying from the bubonic plague.
Yes, the hospitals are in overflow. We have opened our doors to any sick patients they don't have room for.
You have your top chemist working, but I know someone who is much faster and has the cure.
Can you make me a composure and subterfuge roll? As he closes his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hate that. Let me willpower. Okay. And you said composure subterfuge?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And all right. These dots are hard. Three success. Oh no, 4 successes.
Okay. So he closes his eyes and he opens it. Huh. I was not aware there were any of your kind who could perform such miracles.
Luckily, they themselves are a miracle.
Yes, I see that. I see that's how you see them, through your eyes.
You got me.
You want to offer her in exchange for the asset.
Her services, not her.
I'm sorry, I need a physical presence. I need someone in my box.
What the fuck was I doing?
If you would like to offer her up for that, she is more than worthy of an exchange.
Never. Never in a million fucking years. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Would you take...
You were thinking that your humanity is not totally lost from you.
Shut up.
That you could help people.
Shut up.
Would you take someone else? Not one of the knights.
I don't want you.
Fuck you. I'm not that easy. You gotta at least buy me dinner.
The women who are
first.
in this fellowship hall immediately cover their ears when you curse.
If I could get you the Prince of Boston.
I have no interest in Hazel Iverson. She will get her comeuppance.
That tells me everything I need to know about you, John. Thanks for filling in the last blank I had. Shall we? Now that we've done a once around.
Please.
Yeah.
John shouts after you, Marius. You should inform her that people need her.
Yeah, I'll do that.
She would want
I'm
to
lying.
help. Her humanity is not lost.
I will say quietly to Marius, she can help from not here, and she knows it.
Yeah, I already spoke too much.
Yeah, you did.
Shut up.
I understand. When people need help, you help. Just not the way he wants.
We'll be silent as a stone until we're in the vehicle.
I was about to say, do you remember the conversation we had right before we walked in about filling in the holes in your memory?
Yeah, I do. And we're gonna get to that, but there's some things that I gotta say before I lose it. We can't work with these people. We gotta burn this place down. We gotta, everybody in there, I mean, evacuate the innocents if we can. I think, and I've been thinking it for a while, and there's just something about him that I think Quentin's got his hooks in everybody in there.
Quite frankly, I don't like his approach to things. And Well, no one in the city is saying this out loud, but we're all friends. I suppose I will. Richard Dunham has found his way out of 2 very terrible situations scot-free very easily. I don't have a particularly
You getting
generous
lost?
feeling towards him either.
You getting lost in the sauce?
No,
It's
my
not
point
about
is
that.
that my point is that I'm with you, and I don't feel like working with them to save Richard.
Why would he ask for the knights?
Because they're more valuable.
They're not.
No?
They're not.
Because they need to be gathered.
Because Quentin fucking needs them. And this next thing you know, he's gonna be looking for a fucking Guinevere, and then we're all gonna be fucked.
What do you know about that,
He
Guinevere?
takes human women, he fucks with their heads, and then he fucking kills them when he becomes obsessed with something else. It's why I made Saris, because he wanted her, and I wouldn't let him fucking have her.
So you took her.
What other choice did I have?
Fern, don't be dumb.
Can I get a wits and insight roll from everyone? Composure, subterfuge, which is a high dice pool for you, Celeste.
Yeah.
It's a high dice pool.
I'm sorry, what's the what now?
What's insight?
Okay.
I'll give an extra die to Vern. We have left the scene, so if you want to blood buff again, you got to make the Rouse check again.
I will.
Might as well.
I will because my roll was too good. God.
Yeah. We're a little hungry.
Man, it's like the Hecata didn't feed you guys or something.
Yeah. You said what's insight one more time?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna crit fish with a willpower.
What'd you get, Vern?
1.
No.
7 critical
Yeah, so.
9 critical.
for the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Regular old 6.
Well, the 3 of you, besides Vern, who's lost in his own sauce, you see that when Celeste asked about Guinevere, her whole demeanor changed. I'm sorry. I should actually say, Luna, what did you roll?
7 messy critical.
Okay, so messy critical?
Yeah.
Messy critical. Are
Yeah.
you at 4 hunger?
I am.
Okay. We're going to deal with that in just a second.
Okay.
Hang on to that.
Okay.
So here's what happens. Not Brienne. Arthur and Marius, you notice Celeste's whole demeanor change when you mention Guinevere. And remembering Quentin King calling you that in your mind, increase your hunger to 5. Go roll me a hunger frenzy check.
Okay,
That
that's
is your
just
unspent willpower plus 2 dice for your humanity. Let's see if you eat everyone in this car.
Oh god. Well, let's see. Yeah.
And
okay.
I'm going to, if you do frenzy, I'm going to direct it at Vern, who said Guinevere. Cowabunga, dude.
3?
3 successes? Yeah. So you hear Celeste go, what do you know about Guinevere? And both of you see her whole demeanor change, and then you see everything about her change as she lunges over to Vern, who is driving.
I'm doing fleetness to grab her.
Okay. I'm going to let her get to him first before you notice what's happening.
Sure.
Since you met her DC, sort of. So you're going to grab on, you're going to bite him in the neck. Vern, composure and drive. Celeste, strength and brawl.
Oh. All right. I mean,
That's not a terrible dice pool for you.
It's not terrible, but yeah. Okay. Just 2.
2. Vern?
5 crit.
5 crit. All right, so you're able to keep your eyes on the road, be able to keep the car steady. Make me a rouse check. Vern? Success. Remove yourself down to 4 hunger before Arthur comes in with fleetness and removes you from his deck. And you have a little bump, just a little bump. Like a tree.
Okay.
What do you know?
He talked to me, and he called me Guinevere.
Fucking A.
Vern, I thought you said human women.
Yeah, I guess he fucking changed his type.
I'm fine.
He's fucking 3 centuries old and a bit of a fucking playboy. It's not beyond him to fucking switch it up. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a Guinevere for a while that was a guy. Like, this shit happens.
Celeste, I'm going to let you go now, but if you move again, I'm going to throw you out of a moving car.
That's fine.
Come on, let's cool it. All right, we gotta think, because that's how Quentin fucking beats you, is he outthinks you.
Speaking of thoughts, I'm so glad you specifically said that, Ivan. We need to unravel this. Celeste, just go ahead. Jam the key to his fucking little cortex and unlock all those fucking memories.
Can we get to where we're going? Can we get to where we're going first?
We should
If we
stop
could
the
not
car
do that while we're
first.
driving. Yeah, if we could
Thank
not
you.
do that. We could not do that
Should stop
while
the
he's
car.
driving. Thank you.
But, Vern, we are in a bit of a bind at this point. It might behoove you to remember.
Yeah, I get that. I think we need to call every fucking gun we've got on burning that place as soon as possible. I mean, Hecata just said they'd help. We got that boon from the fucking lupines. If we're gonna swing, we need to swing, Abby. Because I don't know what the fuck is going on with that goddamn pastor, but I'm gonna fucking turn him. He's mine.
Yeah, I'm just doing some minor damage control as I start typing in all the information on the church to the Southern Poverty Law Center, just to send a tip to them.
Jiminy Christmas.
I'm gonna, hey Vern, I'm gonna try to have him look over his shoulder at me.
I'm driving. Hello.
Yeah, you can
Pull
catch him in the mirror. Compel.
Yeah.
Or using mesmerize.
Mesmerize.
Okay, it's make a rouse check.
Oh, for Pete's
We're
sake.
good!
Okay. Intelligence and resolve, Vern. And you are
At a minus.
charisma and dominate, and you're a -2 to that.
-2 dice for weak-willed, yeah.
Yep.
Ooh. You said composure and...
No,
Or resolve and what?
intelligence and resolve.
Ooh, rough.
I love Vampire the Masquerade, a game of personal and political horror.
Vern, pull over.
3.
3.
Use willpower to spend.
Yeah, let's do that. 4. 5, actually, sorry.
Okay, so you pull over.
Really? You did the fucking thing? Come on. I thought... Never mind. Fuck it. Alright,
Alright.
somebody else fucking drive at the very least, so we are not fucking wasting
Alright.
time here.
I'll do it. Fuck. And
Okay. All
Randy
yours.
takes her shoes off and
You
don't
can
drive
drive?
with heels. Yes.
You can't?
No, I can drive. I just never thought the princess could drive.
You know what?
Are you gonna be prince or princess, by the way?
Oh, fuck this. Alright, go.
Fucking
Do
hell.
it. Do it.
And
Brianna is driving.
And I will look Vern in the eyes and bring back his memories.
Okay, so make me, I believe that's composure. Yeah, composure and dominate. Vern, are you resisting in any way? I'm not going to make you make another rouse check for it because you just roused for something.
I will not.
That's so sad. Vern, you make me sad.
I really wanna, but I'm not gonna.
But we need the information.
I am so curious as to what ability this is.
This is the forgetful mind, because I always use it, just like with tabula rasa, I always use the forgetful mind as a way to both take away and give back someone's memories.
Got it.
I got that from Ellie. Actually.
I'm sorry to say it's another messy crit for 7.
Okay, so ruthless, right? So you're going to get, and how that's going to manifest socially in this way is instead of looking at Vern and being nice and sort of holding his head, you want this to work. You really want this to work. So you crawl into his lap and sort of jam your knee into his crotch, really get close to face with him, eye to eye with him, and you sort of lean your forehead against him. And you start rooting through his memories, and you just keep repeating to yourself at first, and then a little bit louder, telling him to remember, let it all go, remember. And this is going to be painful. I need a willpower roll from you, Vern. This is going to be really painful.
Yeah, figured.
I need to know how much you can handle the pain.
8 critical.
Yeah, you handle it. You handle it just fine. Your mind feels like it's set ablaze. You feel all of the synapses in your brain break apart and then start reconstructing themselves. It's a horrific feeling. You never felt anything like it. You would never want to feel it again. But the memories of your life start replaying in your mind. You know your name. And of course, I'll give you a full breakdown in more detail privately after we're done with this. But your name is Ivan Vasilovich Marisov. You have the same last name as Saris because she is your granddaughter. Bernard, her name is Tatiana Ivanova Marisova. Your son, who you believe is Bernard, Carol, your wife, these are all fabrications made up over the years by Jara. Your wife was Masha. She died giving birth to your son, who you also named Ivan, who was born in the Soviet Union in the 1930s. You know the locations, and his name is also Ivan. By the way, his name is Ivan Ivanovich Marisov. You know all of these locations of the knights where they're buried because you did it. You worked with Richard, who made some sort of toxin. You're not sure how he did it. These experiments he did over the years in the Red Salon over and over and over again, working with thin bloods especially. Something he did with thin bloods and vitae he used to make some sort of neurotoxin to put vampires in self-imposed torpor. You worked with him because he was part of your coterie. You went through, you staked and stuck them with this needle, staked them, buried them. You buried them all over Boston according to the instructions of Jara Drury, Beryl Underwood, Dejan Siaka, the Toreador Primogen, and the Prince, Hazel Iverson, Hilda McAndrews, the Toreador Primogen. You brought them Quentin King, as instructed, and then they took all of your memories away. And not for the last time. You are not caitiff, and you never were. You are Clan Gangrel.
Vern's eyes narrow as he looks into Celeste's gaze. That's enough. Now get off of me, woman.
Say please.
And he'll reach up and wrap his hand around her throat. I said get off. I don't want to hurt you. You seem like you're okay. Thank you for bringing me back.
She'll, without breaking eye contact, put her hands on his wrists to motion to pull away as she starts to pull away and get off of him.
He will. As soon as she makes indication that she's getting off of him, he'll let go. I don't like that feeling. My hand around your neck, it felt bad. Sorry. Reflex, I think.
Whatever. So you're back?
Duh.
Okay.
So what do you want to know? I buried all of them. I can take you to them.
Is this what we're doing then?
No. I'm not giving that pastor shit. But maybe I give him the embrace so he has forever to contemplate suffering.
What would that do in helping us extract Dunham?
It would take away a big weapon. I don't like this want for touch. Where he close eyes, see through its bed.
Fuck me.
So we have option. Still leaves the shop on Sarah's board. If she was being fucked with by Quentin. Why that place? It does not fit pattern.
The board that you're referring to the persnickety antiquity that was circled multiple times. Is that correct?
Duh.
Хорошо.
We need to pay a visit, see what is going on. And then, perhaps, we dig up assholes.
We might as well collect all the pieces of the puzzle.
Might as well.
From what I understand, the drug Richard made, he had me inject them with. Keep them in torpor for a long time. So, perhaps we get lucky and they not wake up yet. Perhaps we don't get lucky and they are just waiting for someone to dig them up and pull the stake out. Who's to say?
Maybe we don't pull the stake out then.
And do what with them? Have them as expensive furniture piece.
What are we going to do with them unstaked?
Oh, Ivan. Can I call you Ivan?
Duh.
Do we want the Knights of the Round Table back in Boston?
No. It would only give Quentin power. They are slavishly loyal to him.
Then if we are finding the Knights of the Round Table, refusing to bring Quentin King back into power, and talking about a potential praxis, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't finish the job.
Which job?
Keeping them dead and buried, dear. And perhaps burned.
You mean to leave them for a son?
We don't have to stretch things out too terribly much, but if we're finding them, we might as well take care of the problem. Otherwise, we just leave them buried.
Which roots around to other problem. The Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
If we offer them nothing, we invite war to doorstep.
I'm going to leave that up to the rest of you, because the only thing that I have to offer to them is the same ending that I'm proposing for the Knights of the Round Table. Forgive me, I took things a bit personally.
You speed back into the city of Boston, having learned lots of things. Vern perhaps learning the most of things. And I'm going to keep calling you Vern because I paid for those overlays, and that's what we're doing.
Yep.
But I will leave you with this thought as we end the session. Richard was the one who made the serum that Vern's talking about to torporize the Knights. He's currently with someone who wants him with a full chemistry set. And he's already sent one person looking for them. Who knows how many more of that congregation he'll send. And that is where we will end tonight's session, The Starving Faithful, for this evening. Thank you, everyone.